7 powerful ways to grow and achieve massive success. What if I told you that success is a formula hidden in your daily choices? Most people are chasing breakthroughs while ignoring the habits that quietly build or break their destiny and energy of massive success. This message is not just motivation. It's a mirror to show you what is really driving your life forward or holding it back. Stay with me, because in the next few moments, you're going to discover the silent forces shaping your future. By the end of this message, you will have 7 powerful strategies, proven, practical, and spiritual, that can elevate your life from existing to thriving. Success is not merely about setting goals. It's about having a vision so powerful, so clear, that it pulls you forward when motivation fails. Goals are temporary. They're checkpoints. Vision, on the other hand, is the long road that makes the journey meaningful. When you live by vision, you don't need to be constantly pushed. You're pulled. You're drawn towards something bigger than yourself. Many people confuse goals with vision. They say things like, I want to make more money, or I want to lose weight. And while these are valid objectives, they're not a vision, they're tasks. A vision is deeper. It's the image of the person you are becoming and the life you're meant to live. It's not a to-do list. It's a life statement. A person with vision wakes up differently. Their days are not filled with random activity. Every action, every decision, every conversation is filtered through one critical question. Does this align with where I'm going? Vision gives you clarity. It helps you say yes to the right things and no to distractions disguised as opportunities. Without vision, you'll be busy, but not effective. You'll achieve things that don't matter and wonder why you still feel empty. Vision fuels resilience. When life punches you in the face, and it will, vision is what keeps you standing. It whispers to you in dark times, this isn't the end. You're built for more. Goals can be broken, they can be delayed, but vision survives storms. It adapts, it grows, it becomes stronger with time. Look at the most successful people in the world, and you'll find that their lives were driven by something far bigger than just hitting milestones. They saw something no one else could see long before anyone else believed. That's the power of vision. It allows you to live from the inside out, not the outside in. You stop chasing validation. You stop living for applause. You start building a life that matters. Too many people live by default, not by design. They wake up, go to work, come home, scroll on their phones, sleep, and repeat. Years go by and nothing truly changes. Why? Not because they're lazy, but because they never stop to ask themselves the hard questions. Who am I? What was I born to do? What am I willing to sacrifice to become that person? Vision answers those questions. It sets a fire in your spirit that no failure can extinguish. And here's the secret. Your vision already exists inside you. You don't have to create it. You have to uncover it. Spend time in silence. Reflect. Ask bigger questions. Disconnect from the noise of social media and the opinions of others. Tune in to the still voice within. That's where your vision lives. And once you find it, write it down, speak it daily. Let it guide your goals, your relationships, your work ethic. Because when your life is aligned with vision, success is no longer a mystery. It becomes a matter of time. You don't chase purpose, you live it. In a world filled with distractions, urgency, and superficial goals, choose depth. Choose vision. Because without it, no amount of achievement will ever satisfy you. But with it, even your struggles will serve a purpose. That's the power of beginning with vision, not just goals. Most people define their potential based on what they've already achieved. They look at their resume, their accomplishments, their past victories, and assume that what they've done is the measure of who they are. But that's a lie. Your true potential has nothing to do with your past and everything to do with your possibility. What you've done so far is only a glimpse of what's possible. The truth is, you haven't even scratched the surface yet. You were not born to repeat your history. You were born to create a future that has never existed before. But if you keep measuring your potential by your current results, you'll stay stuck in a small life. Potential is not about performance, it's about capacity. And the real danger is not in failing, but in succeeding at something far below your ability. Many people are celebrated for doing things they were barely challenged by, and they confuse applause with purpose. There is something inside you right now that's bigger than the life you're living. It's untapped, unused, unexplored. Just because no one else sees it yet doesn't mean it isn't there. Your potential is often invisible to others because it hasn't been activated by you. That's why the most dangerous thing you can do is settle. The moment you say this is enough, you start dying. Growth stops when you accept your current level as your final level. Potential requires demand. Just like a muscle needs resistance to grow, your life needs challenge to unlock what's inside you. Every time you stretch beyond your comfort zone, you activate a part of yourself that was lying dormant. The problem is, most people fear the stretch. They'd rather stay in the safety of routine, of what's familiar, even if it's killing their potential slowly. You have to get uncomfortable with comfort. The greatest tragedy is not that people aim too high and miss, but that they aim too low and hit. You must stop defining yourself by what you've already mastered. If something no longer challenges you, it no longer grows you. Your future demands more than what you're currently giving. Potential doesn't show up in who you are today. It lives in the person you're capable of becoming. And that version of you is not unlocked by chance. It's unlocked by pressure, consistency, and commitment to becoming more. You have to stop hiding behind the mask of what you've already done and start pursuing the version of yourself that makes you nervous. Growth begins at the edge of fear. If your goals don't scare you a little, they're too small to unlock your real power. There is a version of your life that you haven't met yet. A version where you're bolder, wiser, stronger, and more impactful. But you won't get there by coasting. You get there by deciding that who you've been is not the limit. It's just the introduction. You weren't designed to live off your past victories. You were designed to evolve. And every day you wake up is proof that there's still more in you. If you were finished, you wouldn't still be here. That breath in your lungs is not just a blessing, it's a responsibility. A responsibility to rise, to push, to become, to stop looking in the rearview mirror of your life. What's ahead of you is far greater than what's behind. You have potential beyond what you've accomplished. And the world is waiting not for what you've done, but for what you're about to do next. Everyone wants success. Everyone has dreams, ideas, and intentions. But very few people are willing to pay the daily price to turn those intentions into reality. That price is called discipline. It's not flashy, it's not exciting, it's not glamorous, but it is everything. Discipline is the bridge that carries you from who you are to who you want to become. Without it, all you have are wishes. With it, you can build anything. You don't rise to the level of your potential, you fall to the level of your habits. And discipline is the power behind those habits. It's the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. Because feelings are unreliable. Discipline doesn't ask if you're in the mood. It commands you to move forward anyway. It trains your body and mind to follow your purpose instead of your emotion. There is no success without discipline. None. Success doesn't respond to your desires, it responds to your diligence. The world rewards consistency, not just talent. And that's the hard truth most people don't want to hear. They wait for motivation, not realizing that motivation is the reward of action, not the source. You don't feel motivated first, you act first. And that action, repeated over time, creates the momentum that people mistake for natural drive. Discipline is what makes the difference between someone who talks and someone who builds. Talking is easy, planning is easy, dreaming is easy. What's hard is showing up when you're tired, saying no when temptation calls, choosing growth when comfort screams. That's what separates the average from the extraordinary. Discipline is the quiet force that turns invisible intentions into visible results. And it's not something you're born with, it's something you build. No one wakes up disciplined. It's forged in the furnace of repetition. Every time you do something difficult on purpose, you train your character. Every time you follow through when it would be easier to quit, you reinforce your integrity. Every time you choose long-term growth over short-term pleasure, you strengthen your future. Discipline is not punishment. It's protection. It protects your vision from the distractions that seek to destroy it. Discipline gives you freedom. It sounds ironic, but it's true. The more disciplined you become, the freer you are. Free from regret, free from chaos, free from mediocrity. Most people think freedom is doing whatever they want, whenever they want. That's not freedom. That's disorder. Real freedom is the ability to control your thoughts, your actions, and your outcomes. And discipline is the muscle that gives you that control. If you want massive success, you cannot afford to negotiate with your excuses. You cannot afford to wait for the right mood, the right timing, or the perfect plan. You need discipline more than you need comfort, because comfort kills potential. Discipline activates it. The life you dream of will not come to the person who is casual. It will come to the person who is committed, relentlessly, quietly. And the best part? Discipline compounds. What starts as a daily struggle becomes a second nature rhythm. What was once hard becomes your standard. And people will look at you and wonder how you do it, not realizing that behind your success is 1,000 private decisions they never saw. That's the secret. The work no one applauds is what produces the life everyone admires. So if you're serious about growing and achieving massive success, stop asking for shortcuts. Start developing discipline. Because once you master yourself, you can master anything. There's a deep misunderstanding in the world today. People believe that if they just hustle enough, work enough hours, or push themselves hard enough, success will automatically find them. But that's not the full picture. Success is not simply the result of what you do. It's attracted by who you are becoming in the process. Your results are directly tied to your character, your mindset, your values, and your personal development. Success is not a reward for busyness. It's a response to growth. You can't trick success. You can't mask a broken identity behind activity. You can have the right strategies, the right timing, even the right connections. But if you remain the wrong person, you'll sabotage everything you build. That's why people who win the lottery often lose it within a few years. Their finances changed, but their mindset didn't. Their circumstances elevated, but their identity stayed small. And so, they returned to the level they were comfortable with. The truth is, you attract what you are, not what you want. If you want bigger opportunities, you have to grow into someone who can handle bigger opportunities. If you want leadership, wealth, or influence, you must become the type of person who can sustain it without crumbling. This is the part most people skip. They chase success, but they don't develop the strength, patience, or humility to hold it. And so even if they reach it, they can't keep it. Real success begins inside. It's an inside-out process. You have to build the internal capacity that matches the external results you desire. That means working on your mindset, your integrity, your emotional stability, your discipline, and your consistency. It means becoming someone who doesn't just do great things, but is becoming great through the process. When you focus on who you are becoming, success becomes a byproduct, not a pursuit. The mistake many make is they think success is only about performance. But performance without transformation leads to burnout and frustration. You can perform well and still feel like a fraud if your inner world hasn't caught up with your outer achievements. That's why inner growth must come first. Success that finds you before you are ready will crush you. But success that meets you while you are becoming whole will elevate you without destroying you. And here's the truth. The path to becoming that person is often slow. It's filled with setbacks, discomfort, and growth pains. But those very moments, the ones no one sees, are the ones shaping you into someone worthy of what you desire. You don't become a strong, capable, wise person in a moment. You become them in the decisions you make daily, when no one's watching. When you choose growth over comfort, values over popularity, and purpose over convenience. So ask yourself this: am I becoming the kind of person success would want to stay with? Because real success doesn't stay where there's no structure. It doesn't remain where there's no discipline, no humility, no wisdom, and most of all, it avoids those who chase results without ever transforming themselves. Focus less on chasing and more on becoming. Build the internal foundation strong enough to carry the external success you want. That's the secret that separates people who rise and fall from those who rise and keep rising. When you invest in becoming, you won't need to chase opportunities. Opportunities will find you because the person you become is worth them. Most people underestimate the power of their environment. They focus on motivation, discipline, and goals. Important things, no doubt. But they ignore the silent force shaping their decisions, their mindset, and ultimately their future, their environment. It's not loud, but it's constantly working, constantly influencing. It silently determines what you believe is possible, what you tolerate, and what you strive for. The truth is, your environment is either supporting your growth or sabotaging it. There is no neutral ground. You cannot plant a seed in toxic soil and expect a healthy tree. No matter how good the seed is, no matter how much potential it carries, it won't thrive unless the conditions around it are right. The same is true for your life. You are the seed. Your environment is the soil. If the people around you are negative, small-minded, or constantly complaining, you'll eventually lower your standards. If your surroundings are full of distractions, chaos, or lack of vision, you'll begin to drift. And drifting is dangerous because it feels like you're moving, when in reality, you're just floating away from your purpose. Look around your life. What are you constantly exposed to? Who are you listening to? What messages are shaping your beliefs every day? You might think you're immune to influence, but no one is. Over time, even the strongest will absorb the atmosphere they live in. If you live in an environment of fear, you'll stop taking risks. If you stay in an environment where mediocrity is normal, excellence will feel like arrogance. Your environment normalizes whatever it consistently presents to you. This is why growth is not just about personal effort, it's also about strategic positioning. If you want to grow, you have to place yourself where growth is possible. That means being around people who challenge your thinking, inspire your vision, and stretch your standards. It means being in places that elevate your focus, your energy, and your values. Sometimes, the most powerful decision you can make for your future is to leave a place that's holding you back. But this doesn't always mean moving to a new city or cutting off everyone you know. Sometimes changing your environment starts in small, intentional steps. It means setting boundaries with certain people. It means redesigning your workspace to eliminate distractions. It means being selective about what you watch, read, and listen to. It means curating your atmosphere to match the future you want, not the past you're trying to escape. And don't overlook the internal environment either, the environment of your mind. If your thoughts are cluttered with fear, comparison, or doubt, they will suffocate your potential, no matter how disciplined you are. Your internal environment must be nurtured with truth, vision, and clarity. This is why renewing your mind daily is not optional, it's essential. The thoughts you entertain shape the direction of your life just as much as the people you surround yourself with. Gilor, you will never rise consistently above the atmosphere you live in. If you are the smartest, most motivated, or most ambitious person in your circle, you're in the wrong circle. Growth demands that you be slightly uncomfortable. It requires friction, challenge, and a higher standard. A powerful environment is not always easy. It stretches you, corrects you, and holds you accountable. But it also lifts you, sharpens you, and speeds up your transformation. People often say, "Show me your friends and I'll show you your future." But it goes even deeper. Show me your entire environment, your home, your habits, your inputs, your community, and I'll show you your destiny. Because what surrounds you eventually gets inside you, and what's inside you shapes everything you do. If you want massive success, stop trying to fight your environment and start designing it. Create conditions that make success easier and failure harder. Build a space around you that reflects the kind of person you want to become. Align your external world with your internal vision and watch how fast your life begins to accelerate. Remember, your environment is either pulling you forward or pulling you back. It's never neutral. If you want to grow, don't just work harder, position yourself smarter. Place yourself where your future has room to breathe. Then watch what happens. The future you're dreaming of is not waiting for some miracle moment. It's being built every single day, brick by brick, through your habits. Habits are the small, quiet architects of your destiny. They shape your decisions, they reinforce your standards, and they direct your path long before you ever arrive at your goals. If you want to know where your life is headed, don't look at your dreams, because the future doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you repeatedly do. Many people crave transformation, but they avoid the uncomfortable truth. Success is not created in dramatic moments. It's built in boring consistency. The early mornings you don't feel like getting up, but you do. The books you read when you could be scrolling. The workouts you push through when no one's watching. The quiet discipline of choosing excellence, not just when it's exciting, but when it's mundane. These seemingly small decisions compound over time. They quietly build character. They silently build momentum. And one day, they loudly deliver results. But here's the trap. Because habits are small, they're easy to ignore. Skipping one workout doesn't make you unhealthy. Overspending one time doesn't make you broke. Procrastinating one task doesn't ruin your business. But when those actions are repeated over days, weeks, months, they carve a path and you start walking it without even realizing it. What starts as an exception becomes a pattern, and what becomes a pattern soon becomes your identity. That's why you must be ruthless with your habits. Not in a harsh or perfectionistic way, but in an intentional way. Because your habits are not just actions, they are agreements with your future. Every time you choose discipline, you are telling your future self, "I've got your back." Every time you delay, avoid, or settle, you're putting your future at risk. It's not about being perfect, it's about being faithful to the vision you say you believe in. People often look at those who've achieved massive success and think they must have had some advantage, some gift, or some shortcut. But in most cases, what they had was the ability to repeat simple disciplines long enough for them to pay off. They weren't always the most talented or the smartest. They were simply the most consistent. They stayed in the process when it was uncomfortable. They showed up when it wasn't. They honored the mundane, and that's what produced the magnificent. Habits are the bridge between intention and transformation. You can intend to become great, but without habits, you will always fall short. You can desire financial freedom, health, strong relationships, or spiritual depth, but only habits will sustain those things. Because motivation fades, emotion changes, but habits, if built with intention, will carry you through seasons when your feelings fail you. And if your current habits aren't leading you toward the life you want, then they are silently building the life you don't want. There is no neutral habit. Every repeated behavior is either constructing your future or quietly dismantling it. That's why self-awareness is critical. You must audit your daily life. What are you doing consistently? What are you tolerating? What patterns are you normalizing that don't belong in the life you claim to be building? The good news is, you don't have to overhaul everything at once. Big change begins with small, intentional shifts. Start with one powerful habit. Master one discipline. Replace one toxic pattern, and then build on it. Because habits don't just change your results. They begin to reshape your identity. When you consistently act like a person of purpose, you begin to believe you are one. And that belief fuels more action. It's a cycle that, once started, gains momentum. This is why the most successful people guard their habits like treasures. They know that every habit is a vote for the kind of person they are becoming. They know that long-term success is not accidental. It's the product of daily, often invisible choices. You won't always feel like doing the right thing. That's why you don't rely on feelings. You rely on systems. You rely on ritual. You build habits so strong that even when you're tired, discouraged, or distracted, you still stay aligned with your purpose. So if you're serious about growth, if you truly want to achieve massive success, don't just dream bigger, live better. Build the habits today that your future will thank you for. Because your life is not shaped in the grand moments, it's shaped in the hidden hours, in the morning routines, in the evening reflections, in the daily choices that no one applauds, but that ultimately define everything. Remember this, your habits will either make your future inevitable or impossible. The choice is yours.